What's up, everybody? It's your boy Omega from Omega's Gaming. Back at it again with another ESO video. I know I've been gone for a little while. School's been hectic, but I'm going to slowly be bringing more content back to ESO. And starting with this new build that I have for the Magic Templar, which is my most played class. I've pretty much found the optimum build for tankiness and being able to do damage. You could still hit really hard. I mean, even on people that have like 30k resistances, I'm still able to hit like 5k jabs, like 10k meteors. It still does the damage that you need it to do, while maintaining extreme tankiness. So let's go ahead and go into the sets. The first set shouldn't surprise you. It's going to be the Fortified Brass. This is the best set for PvP, bar none, for every single class in the game, whether it's stamina, magicka, it doesn't matter. Whether you want to be a healer, where you want to, it doesn't matter. It keeps you alive because there's so many other sets in the game that you can combine with this that are extremely strong, like extremely strong healing sets that go well with this for a healer. Obviously, it's a tanking set, so it goes well for tanking, but even doing damage, it's really good. So what I've done is I've done 5 on the body. I've done a heavy chest, light waist, feet, medium pants, and then light hands. And what I've done is the small pieces are all in pen, and then the heavier, larger pieces are infused. Right now, I'm wearing Grothzar. This isn't optimal, but it's really good for groups. But I would personally rather have Valkynscoria because you can't get away from Valkynscoria. You're going to take that smack, and it really does help finish people off. And this isn't bad. I mean, this is the alternative, but I would say that Grothzar would be the best. I know a lot of people are running Bloodspawn, but honestly, it's unnecessary with this setup. Now, my second set that I'm using, I'm running Sword and Shield. I'm running Wizard's Repose, and I'm doing 2 spell damage, a recovery, and then I have an in-pen shield with magic, and then I have a precise weapon. The reason I have that is because that gets me up to 48% spell critical, so I do crit quite a bit. When you look at my stat sheet, it is really good unbuffed. I mean, I have 37k max magicka, so I'm not hurting there, even though I'm not wearing a set that gives me a lot of it. I have 25k health in Cyrodiil, 15k magic recovery, base spell damage is 1934, 48.9% crit, 24, 21, and 1000. And I still have almost 6k spell pen. It's not a ton of spell pen, but it's enough. Now, if I buff, I'm at 29 spell resistance and 26, almost 27 physical. When I buff up on here, I get about 23, because if you remember, you get your major from this, but then you get your minor from your Vampire's Bane. So it takes me up to about 23, which honestly, 23 is plenty for you to do damage. So, like I said, I run the sword and board setup. Look into what skills I'm using. On my front bar, which is my damage bar for my sword and board, I'm running the Purifying Light. I really like this ability because you can't get away from it. You're going to take that damage regardless, and they also leave a healing pool that heals for quite a bit, even in PvP. So if one person dies, you start getting heals from that right away, and it's pretty awesome. The recent change to Unstable Core makes this an absolute must on the Magic Templar. So basically, envelop an enemy in a lightless sphere causing whatever magic damage, and then you place magic energy on them that explodes. But whenever they do damage, direct damage, it damages them. So if you have a Nightblade that's jumping on you and hitting you, and they're not cleansing this, or they don't have a way to cleanse it, they're hurting themselves. And this helps it so that you can slow down crystal frags. You can kind of carry the pace of the fight while you're using this to make sure that if you need to take a break and you need them to stop attacking you, you can kind of throw this on, and if they're smart, they'll stop. If not, you might get the kill based off of it. Puncturing sweeps obviously does a lot of healing if there's a lot of people there, and it hits pretty hard. I mean, like I said, when I'm fully buffed and I'm hitting, I'm still doing the 5K, at least 5K. I think I've hit some like 6800s, which is nothing to brag about. I mean, my other like full damage build, I was hitting like 12K, but I was squishy and I would die in a second. You were not squishy with this setup. Um, so inner light on my front bar to get that magicka. Obviously, max magicka equals damage. Same thing with the critical; it helps out there. And then obviously radiant oppression. And then I run the shooting star for a couple reasons. One, it's a real good way to finish people off or just smack a group of people. Um, and it also gives me some more max magic, which is great. Back bar, I'm running the resto. I'm running the restoring focus for the healing received by 8% and then 8% less damage taken. So if we pause right here, I'm taking 8% less damage here. I have an ass ton of resistances, you know what I mean? And then the Wizard's Repose, whenever someone's attacking me and they do critical, it reduces their damage by 15% for 15 seconds. And there's no cooldown on that. So if at the end of the 15 seconds, if I get crit again, there's another 15 seconds on that. So I mean, if people are running high crit builds or they're just critting you pretty often, they're not gonna do much damage. I mean, this makes you so tanky. It's fucking great. The next thing is going to be obviously Ritual of Retribution. It does a little bit of damage, but it's mostly for the extra healing that you can get from this. This is probably the most important part, and it also purifies. So being able to purify stuff is the best. I run Honor the Dead. I just started running it, obviously, since it's only level 1. But it seems to work really well because when you're fighting, if you're playing solo and you're fighting 6 or 7 people and you're having to try to escape, this, as you're healing yourself, if it doesn't hit you or you have that chance to restore 60% of the cost, so you can really spam the shit out of this to keep yourself alive. I've run from a Zerg just constantly being attacked and was able to survive just because of this. Now this is my buff area. I will degeneration right into Vampire's Bane because that buffs that. Since we have the 10 on the Mage's Guild, it'll buff it. And then I use the Life Giver. It's let's see. Yeah, this is the best one because this is the one that gives you regeneration, blessing of protection, and the steadfast ward at no cost. So you will not die when you pop this. If you pop this and you have both of these up with all of your defenses, you're just going to walk through just a solid group of people with no issues. I should actually probably put some points into here. While we're here at the skill things, you obviously want in your racial all of your stuff. I am an Argonian, and the reason for that is it adds to your survivability because of your resourcefulness. Whenever you drink a potion, you get 4K health, magic, and stamina on top of. So I run tri-stat potions. I actually run the essence of immovability. So it gives me the knockback, the health, and the magicka. So I pop this, I'm basically at full health from nothing. It's pretty ridiculous. I think Argonian is very, very underrated. So obviously you want all of that stuff. Inside of here, you can grab whatever you need inside of PvP. Fighters Guild, I don't worry about it too much. Mages Guild, these two are the most important for the extra magic, and then the guaranteed hard smack when you cast it. Soul Assault wouldn't be bad to run. I've just never gotten it. Everything into light armor. I don't put anything into here because it's such a small difference. I really don't give a shit. I might toss some stuff in there. I'm not really sure. Dual wield. You want to make sure that these two. This gives you 6% weapon damage, which will also like equate to spell damage. And then this here is going to give you when you run the two swords. it'll do the stuff. This is if you're gonna run dual wield instead of the sword and shield. Sometimes I will go dual wield, but I've had a lot of success with sword and shield. So definitely a destruction staff, and then obviously your normal things inside of here for your resto, so that you can get a little bit more from your heavy attacks and things like that. Going into CP, I find this CP setup to be pretty good. I could probably move a couple things around, but I'm still playing with it. But I do have a lot of success with this. So as a Templar, you get that extra crit damage. So I do put 51 into Elfborn to get that 19%. Toss a little bit into spell erosion. This is, if I was going to change anything, I would add more into the spell erosion since people are so tanky. But to tell you the truth, I mean, I'm still hitting for 5k, and that's honestly not bad. A little bit of elemental to get that 10%. If I was going to take anything out, I'd take it out of Shattering Blows, but I do put a lot in here for people who are, if you come across like shield stacking sorcerers or Nightblades or things like that are constantly popping bubbles, you can really just smash those bubbles down. And that it does make a huge difference having this in here. Master at Arms, I don't really put much into here because I put most of it into Thaumaturge, because your jabs run off of Thaumaturge more than anything else, and then so does your flame attack, your dot that you put on. It all is going to come out of this, so that's why I hit so hard. Ironclad, I put 19% into reducing direct attacks, which is what most people are doing. Don't have a ton in here because I still get that 15% reduction, and I still have 1,000 crit resist. 7% here, 10% into both of these. Bastion, I have 23%, and I'm actually not even using a shield. So this is where I would remove this, and I would put more into the Hardy and Elemental Defender, and then maybe a little bit more into the dots. But since I'm not even using a shield, like, because you don't need shields with this setup at all, I can completely take everything out of Bastion and buff these up. So my tankiness is about half of what it could be, and it's still pretty impressive. Reduce the cost on break free, obviously, because people are trying to stun you. More magic recovery, more return on my heavy attacks, and then just a little bit into tumbling because I will dodge roll from time to time. The food that I'm using right now is the Potent Witch Mother's Brew. I would like to try that new set that came out with Clockwork City. I haven't been able to get my hands on it. If anybody wants to send me some, that'd be awesome. I'll either use this or I'll use the basic max magic health. If I do the max magic health, it takes my 37,000 to just under 40, but then I'm only at about 1,000 magic recovery, and I feel like the trade-off, I survive much longer this way, especially since I'm usually fighting more than one person. It helps out. I do have poisons on each bar. This is just for the heavy attacks, but I do... I mostly heavy attack on my resto, obviously, to get my magic back, but I put them on both just because it's just a little bit of extra damage, so I do run poisons on this as well. Let's see, what else? Besides that, honestly, this is, oh yeah, the Apprentice. I do have the Apprentice on, for the, spell damage. Yeah. Because this will go up to about 23, and you would think, when I put this together, I thought it was just going to be a straight tank and not really do a lot of damage, but I was extremely wrong. It hits really well, extremely tanky, and your healing is pretty fantastic. My let's see, Honor of the Dead says 9469 at level 1. I mean, I've healed myself for 10k with this, and I'm able to spam it because of the return on it. So you have extremely hard healing, especially because of this. Extreme defense, and you still hit, not like a Mack truck, but maybe like a Ford F-150. You're still hitting like a truck, but not an 18-wheeler. People are very, very surprised when they try to fight this. Especially if there's a couple people and Grothar goes off, this really helps me kind of, take people down. I would rather have Falcon Scoria than this, just for the simple fact that you can't dodge that, and it's it'll hit for like 7k, you know what I mean? And if someone's low and you're beaming them, the beam sets it off constantly, and so does jab. So I mean, you really drop a lot more damage with Falcon Scoria than this, but this is what I have for now, so it's what I'm gonna use. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the build. I'm back and forth in between classes, so once everything gets a little bit better, I will post more videos. But this is just what I've been playing with now, and I've had a lot of success with it. Um, Honestly, this setup works on any class that you could do it with. Like, you could do a Magic Nightblade like this. I was running a Sorcerer like this. Magic DK is completely broken if you put this on there. They literally take no damage whatsoever and still hit 7k whips. So it's pretty impressive on I would say this class and the Magic DK the most. But try this out, see how you like it. And please, like, comment, subscribe, and leave a message down at the bottom. That way I can, still have the motivation to make more videos. All right, guys. See you later.